Hello, everyone. Today is day 2 of National Domestic Violence Awareness Month. I wanted to come on and share with all of you the reasons why people do not leave toxic relationships. Because one of the biggest things we hear from people is, why did they stick around? Why didn't they just leave? And so this is a really important topic for those of you who have ever been in a toxic relationship, or maybe people that you know personally are in a toxic relationship and you might be wondering why they aren't leaving. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Stephanie McPhail. I'm the expert in helping brilliant women date up. What that means is I give women the tools to help them stop the cycle of toxic relationships so that if they do decide to date again, they make better choices when it comes to who they decide to date. So today what we're going to talk about is why people don't leave. So obviously the number one reason why people don't leave toxic relationships is fear for their safety. Fear for their safety. The biggest time, the most dangerous time for someone who is leaving an abusive relationship is when they decide to leave. People that might have been verbally abusive and not physically abusive in the past have a greater chance of resorting to violence and harm when their victim is trying to leave because they are losing control and power over that person. So when I work with women who are leaving these types of toxic relationships, we discuss very often whether or not they think that they are in danger. And if there's been anything ever strange that they've noticed behavior-wise from this person, we discuss that and we make sure that we speak to family and friends and we have our escape bag in case we need to grab something and run as quickly as we possibly can. So the number one reason why people don't leave is because they are afraid, and there is a good reason for them to be afraid. I only could hear so many times how no one would ever find my body in the swamps of New Jersey for that to not get stuck in my head, worrying about what he was going to do when I finally decided to take my power back and leave. And by the way, as I'm going through this list, if any of you have other reasons why people stay in toxic relationships, please write them in the comments. I'd love to be able to add to this list. All right, so number one, physical danger. Another reason is denial. Hoping that the person is going to change. Are they going to get better? Have I put in all of this effort for them to finally change and get better? And then now I'm going to leave and I'm going to not be able to reap all the benefits of all of the effort that I put into this relationship. And so there's that denial of like, this is who they are. They're not going to change. This is the way it is. This is the way it's always going to be. And the denial is really to protect ourselves, because we don't want to believe that we made a mistake in choosing this person. And we're embarrassed. Guilt, shame, that will keep us trapped even longer. I mean, we work with very successful women. They're successful everywhere else in their life, but not when it comes to relationships. And so we are people that are used to making things work. So when we choose this partner that isn't good for us, our thinking, our brains that figure things out are like, all right, I just got to figure this out. It can't be that bad. Maybe it's something that I can do. And then we try to go into fixing mode to figure out what we need to do to change. So another reason why people don't leave is denial. Another one is loss of status. If we are used to living a certain way, having a certain lifestyle, having a certain type of house, a certain car, looked at as a married couple, because for some reason, if you look at society, there's like something negative about a woman being single, you know, or breaking up a marriage. What about the kids? Like, you know, you hear people talk about that kind of stuff all the time. If you grew up religious, like I did, once you got married, you stayed married. So I felt like if I didn't make the marriage work, that there was something wrong with me. And I was embarrassed already, thinking like, I chose the wrong person, this person's abusive, but I made marriage vows that I would stick around until death do us part. So that was just another reason or another, thing that kept me trapped in that relationship. Another thing, being scrutinized. Other people looking at our lives and telling us why we deserve to be in a toxic relationship. I mean, there are people that say nasty things. People will scrutinize all of our behaviors as to why maybe we're causing this to happen or what we've done. So being scrutinized, because then you're being re-traumatized again by other people deciding and making assumptions about your life. Because a lot of the times these toxic people come across as really great people And we can say girls and guys, even though it's more 85% women and about 15% men, but that's reporting, right? So there might be way more guys, but the guys are not really comfortable sharing. So, people are not really comfortable sharing what's going on, and they're embarrassed. Another reason is that they're afraid to be judged. Again, like what I said before about religion, or about we have clients all the time. This is maybe their second or third marriage, and they're like, I don't want to have another marriage end badly, and so they're like, maybe just relationships are this hard. Maybe I just need to stick around and try to make it work. So they're afraid of being judged, that they have chosen a wrong partner yet again, and that they are just not good at relationships. So again, that embarrassment, shame, and guilt comes out there. Another reason is that there are false reports that people make. So if you listen to the news and you listen to what other people say about people who have been in toxic relationships, the news will make it out like the woman is the bad guy. The person who has been abused, I really hate using the word victim, but the person who has been abused is the person whose fault it is. If again, watch the news, watch how famous people famous men in power most of the time, how do they talk about the people that are accusing them of whatever they're being accused of? The woman is looked at as, she's called a whore, she's called names, she's slept around, but a guy can do all those things and it's not looked at the same way. So if a woman constantly sees, or someone who's been in an abusive relationship is seeing that everybody else is being blamed and made fun of for their abuse, then they are less likely to come out themselves. So that would be another reason why they don't share. Again, being re-traumatized by it. Letting other people down, feeling like, hey, my kids are going to really miss out on having an intact family. I wanted to have an intact family, so therefore I have to make it work because I didn't have that growing up. And of course, we know that children growing up in abusive types of situations, seeing their parents argue, even if it's verbal abuse and not physical abuse, that is equally damaging and is causing the child to grow up thinking that that is what a relationship looks like. So that is another reason why it is people feel like they are stuck in these toxic relationships. People being asked why they stayed. Oh, this is a good one. Being asked if they like drama. People stay because they're afraid of causing drama. They're afraid of other people telling them that they like drama. They're afraid of, they're people pleasers. So when we stay in these toxic relationships, we're so afraid of letting other people down that we are putting our people pleasing ahead of our own needs, ahead of our own lives. And so, these are just some of the reasons that people stay in these toxic relationships. So if you are in a position yourself where someone has ever asked you why you stayed in these toxic relationships, I would love for you to write in the comments some of the examples as to why you stayed in these toxic relationships, because there is a super long list of why people stay. And, I'm going to just add too, is that a lot of these abusive people will take away family, friends, and our positions, so that we have to lean so much more on them, where we feel so terribly alone that we've lost our own identity. We've lost our ability to make money. We've lost our freedoms to be ourselves. And so we've had to rely that much more on the person who's being abusive to us. And that gives them more of the power. And again, I keep saying I'm going to throw in one more, but there's one more thing that's interesting. What the abuser likes to do when we do decide, hey, maybe I should leave. So we tell them, hey, I think I'm going to, I can't be in this relationship anymore. It's toxic, blah, blah, blah. And the person turns around and curses and screams at us and tells us how crappy we are as human beings. And they go on and on, ripping us a new one. And then weirdly, we think about what they say and we say, oh, you know what? Maybe they're right. Maybe I don't have any friends. Maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe people won't like me. Maybe I will die alone. Maybe all those things. Because we've been stuck in this bubble of toxicity for so long, we believe the negative things that they say because they've taken down our self-esteem. They've taken away our friends, all of those things. Now, someone who would say that to me now, I'd be like, run the other direction. I'm not going to let somebody talk to me that way. But in the past, when I was in a toxic relationship, my ex told me several times what a piece of crap I was. And that part of me that believed him allowed me to stay longer in that toxic relationship. But if we really were all those terrible things, why would they fight so hard to try to keep us around? They don't want crappy people. They want successful, wonderful, amazing people, which is what we are. So I'm going to end this by saying that it takes a lot of strength to leave toxic relationships. It takes a lot of strength to build yourself up better than you ever were before after you do leave. So I want you to give yourself credit. I want you to know that you are not alone. And for those of you who are looking for mentorship in stopping the cycle permanently so that you can live a life that you are thriving in, not merely surviving in, please comment the word aware for Domestic Violence Awareness Month in the comments, and someone from our team will reach out to you and talk to you about what it would look like to have us as your mentors to take the guesswork out so that you'd have the exact roadmap of what you need to do to never get stuck in one of these toxic relationships again. Hope you're having a wonderful day, and never forget you are way stronger than you realize. Have a great day.